Let's go over to Jen.
I'm Jen, the assistant publisher to the Colorado Springs Independent and Business Journal.
And Mary Jo.
I'm Mary Jo Mead. I'm the copy editor for the Indy and the Business Journal.
All right. And with that, Andre, let's go ahead and get to our first question. Just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you come from, and maybe why you're running for office.
Well, my name's Andre Vigil. This is my third attempt at running for commissioner. I keep getting closer and closer. I've lived in the district since 1969. My dad was in the military stationed at Fort Carson. I graduated from Fountain Fort Carson in 1975. At the time, I attended El Paso Community College. Over the past 33 years, when I got out of college, I worked on NASA contracts for the armed forces, private industries, AMI. I utilized my mechanical, electrical, and civil engineering background for quite a while. And then, as you know, Colorado has an up and down economy, and we had a big layoff for 1988 or something like that. It was a down housing. So I went to the IBW 113, became a journeyman electrician, worked as an electrician for 15 years with them. And once again, we had, I think it was 2001 when we had the September 11 bombing. Everything kind of came to a halt, and I applied for a job at the county, El Paso County, and I've been there right now, right at 18 years, working as an electrician for them, from the Criminal Justice Center to the Citizen. Every building that's in the county has, I've been in them. I had my own little business at the time, AV Custom Construction. I specialized in ornamental wrought iron, railings, balconies, fences, that kind of things. But as time went by, I decided to run for commissioner. I felt at that time, I still do, that we need to put the citizens first. And when I say that, I mean using the tax dollars that we receive in the county to the best use, and have a little bit more accountability of our elected official, and start showing what I call physical responsibility with our budget. And as the years have progressed, again, I'm running again. I want to be the voice for the citizens and the voice for the working families, not only the county employees, but the citizens, to make sure that our parks are nice, our roads are done. Start putting our money where it's supposed to be, and not have these what I call feel-good projects, which is fine, but we need to have something that people perception, you know, have the parks nice, have the buildings nice. Don't just waste the money on things that has no return value, is the way I look at it.
Okay. You said feel-good projects. Can you give some specific examples of what those might be and why you're opposed to them?
I wouldn't say there's some projects going on right now that I can't say I'm opposed to them, but there's some things that we could do as far as our maintenance of our buildings. Instead of saying, oh, well, we can wait another year on that. No, you can't. Our buildings aren't exactly in the best of shape. If you address the problem that's occurring up front, then you don't have a problem magnitude later on. There was a good example, the Wasatch Garage. It could have been taken care of way back when, but for some reason they decided to wait, and then it got to where it got pretty expensive to repair it. The last time we had the influenza, we put up thousands of dollars of what I call bug screens, or salad screens for, to protect the employees and the public. And after it went away, we took them all down and threw them away. Now we're back to putting up those bug screens again. Why can't we just make it an everyday permanent thing that's just the way it is, instead of just wasting that kind of money? I just feel, and from my point, being a maintenance background, if you put the money up front, then you don't have to replace the engine later.
Okay.
There's projects that they go on, like I said again, that I as a citizen would question why we're doing that without having a return to the public. I was opposed for my own reasons. Why did we give the state $7.5 million for the gap? That's a state project, and then we as a county are short that money for our own projects. I'm not trying to say it couldn't have been done, but there's certain things that all the counties could have participated in. I just don't understand things like that. And then they were talking about having a toll road, which I believe is still on the books. Well, why wasn't that put in there to say, okay, you can have your toll road, but a certain amount of that money comes back to the county to reimburse us for investing? Or other projects that we do that, why can't we get with the city, other counties, and work together and cut the cost on road repairs? And there's just so many things that a person can look at. I'm more of a what if kind of guy. What if we did this and that? Or maybe now with this pandemic, as bad as it is, maybe we should get with all the counties and come up with a plan. We don't need more higher ups to tell us what to do. We can take care of stuff at the level of county and do what we always do, set an example. We're a leader in the elections. We're a leader in a lot of things that we do, but let's work our plans together. It's like we build a road, and then 2 days later we dig it up because we forgot to do something.
Okay. What would you say are your top three priorities if you're elected?
One of them would be looking at the employees' structure. And when I say that, I mean the benefits, the pay, and how can we make it to where we can make it that employees want to stay? They go, wow, I work for the county, I make a fair wage, I can take care of my family, and have incentives that we can send these employees to better their education or in the trade that they're in, and provide a room for advancement. Give them a way to get there. Staffing would be one. Another one would be the projects that we take over. What is the turn that we get for doing a project, say a parks? I'd like to see that instead of just getting rid of playgrounds. Why have we gotten to the point where we take playground equipment down and we don't replace it? I'd really like to see where the monies are going and how it's going. And then there's some things that have been happening in the county that are geared not so much towards, I don't know how to put it, but reinstate the overtime policy. Right now, certain departments aren't getting paid overtime. We're considered essential employees, but yet the compensation isn't there, and we're right up there in the front line. And also, I'd like to start a group that we can look and work with other counties to better our whole environment, our everything that's around us, business, jobs. How can we get it to where we could start a program that we could bring in, I would say graduates maybe, or maybe first-year college students to learn various areas, trades, electrical, construction, and see if they'd be interested in trying to do something like that, and maybe get it to where it counts towards their college degree or high school, and they'd only have to work 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I mean, I'd work with the workforce team, and I'd work with some of the other people in departments, and see if we can't get a few, just help, give them some insight to what it's like to be in the government.
Okay. I'm not sure that was 3 distinct things, but we'll, so I know looking out for county, or looking at the county employee structure, you said staffing. Did you mean staffing specific to the county as being one of your priorities?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we understaffed? Are we overstaffed? What are we doing with, try to manage that money that we have and still come up with a better plan? Ensure that we have our senior citizens property tax exemption covered. Look at hiring practices that we have. Make sure we get really, really good people that can advance the county. I'd love to have, listen to the employees, get some ideas. These are the guys that are on the front working. Can we do snow removal better? There's so many things that the county does as far as to the taxpayer that whole thing, I believe, needs to get looked at and seeing how we can make it better and more efficient.
Okay. You're running against incumbent Eloginos Gonzalez for this district seat. Why are you more qualified than your opponent?
Well, first of all, I've been here for longer than he has, so I know how this county grew and went. I don't want to be the guy that just says, okay, you can build more houses here. Before you build these houses and tracks, let's think about the roads. In fact, I live over here, over by Fontaine, and I finally met with the city because they hired a contractor to run a sewer line, and they bungled it up pretty good. I met with the foreman on that job site, and I told him about all the other issues along the road. Granted, it's on the city easement and all that, but he looked at it and fixed it. I'm constantly on the road. I have no problems of calling and saying, hey, you got street lights out, you got potholes out. I wish I had more influence as far as what's going on with the parks, the sidewalks, and the residential areas. Like I said, I wasn't planted here. I was pretty much lived here, born here since 1975. I've seen how it's built. I've seen how they piecemeal stuff together. And we're not going to stop it, but maybe we could do it a little smarter and more conveniently. They don't put up stoplights until somebody gets hit and gets gravely injured. The traffic situation isn't given any thought. The land use needs to be decided. It seems like we're just doing things as an open space. The other thing is like I said, I've worked for the county for over 18 years plus and going. So I think it gives me a little bit more knowledge of the internal workings, the seeing, and the common sense that I would provide. I won't be a part-time commissioner. Let's just put it that way. I'll be there all the time. I've always been a full-time worker, and that's the way I would approach being a commissioner.
Okay. What's your assessment of the quality of education in your district and the county as a whole? It's not bad. I mean, the problem is that the kids and the parents need to put the same effort and not put the weight on while they're going to school. It's up to the teacher to teach them. It needs to be an exciting adventure. And now with the pandemic and not actually being in school, instead of we should try to embrace it, not in I don't know if that's the right word, but we should try to take it and learn from it and make it better so that we have it all the time. Like when I got the
endorsement from the Pikes Peak Education Association. I told them, why can't the county set up Wi-Fi stations so these kids don't have to go to McDonald's to get Wi-Fi? Is there other ways that we as a county and other counties can provide assistance to them and talk to them and see how we can do it? But as far as the kids go, it's the parents need to kind of get into it, you know, kind of make the kids sit down and we'll learn, and we need to get away, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but, and it's hard for parents because they work all day and they come home, and depending on the age of the kid, sometimes they just, you know, they're tired and want to sit down and they just put the kid in front of the TV. I think we should educate, use our public information office and get more education to help the parents to teach the kids and get the kids more engaged in other projects. You know, bring back home ec, bring back shop, bring back just different things that the schools provide. But right now with the pandemic, yeah, that's going to be a challenge. And I want to come up, like I said, with what if we did this? What if we did that? How can we help them? You know, we just got to come up with more exciting ways to help the kids go. But the ones that want to learn, they're learning. And the ones that just want to not do it, well, that's what they do.
Okay. Can you talk about your position on race relations within your district and criminal justice reform?
Well,
yeah.
I don't have any race relation problems, if that's what you mean. I mean,
No, I don't mean yours.
any-
I mean, considering the state of race relations within the country and even our region, do you have ideas as to how to bridge gaps between groups maybe that aren't seeing eye to eye and issues within your own district that might arise when it comes to race relations and criminal justice?
Well, I think we handled, and the police department handled, the protests we had downtown. Our area here, we're not, we need to listen more. And how do you tell people to listen? When they start painting buildings and cars and flipping things, that's not protesting. And that's just being outright vandalism. That's, as far as how to solve it, the only way you can solve that is to have people that are willing to listen and willing to talk. If you get somebody that just flat don't want to listen and his way is right and you're wrong, well, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to convince that guy how to do it. And the only way you can do it is with facts, and that's a really good one. I really can't tell you, if a person's not willing to listen and the other one's not willing to hear, well, then there's going to be a problem. And how to solve it, I don't see defunding the sheriff's office and the police office. I don't really see that as a cure. Training police officers and stuff like that for arrests is another. That's going to take somebody with a lot of knowledge and schooling. That every situation's different and every person's different. And if you can, you know, my best answer is if the police officer tells you to stop and listen and obey the commands. Don't go haywire and think that just because you're of a certain race that you got priority. I mean, he's got to go home to his family too, and he's just trying to do what's on the books as far as laws go. And that's how you get people elected. You elect people that are going to try to do change and try to influence what's going on. You can't. That's a good question. I mean, there's so many different ways a person could try to tackle that. But it comes back to the same thing. If you're not going to listen and you're not going to hear each other, then that's just a brick wall.
So following up on the talking and listening part, do you think it's up to elected officials to facilitate those conversations? Is it part of your responsibility to bring those people who see? Okay. And
I would.
Go ahead.
I would. I would want to be the spearhead on that to say, look, and the other side of that is I'd want to address it before it happens. If you see tensions building and stuff, then you need to get out there and start saying, look, this is what we got to do. What do we need to do to change it? How can we fix that? I mean, we got so many other issues, homeless issues, budget issues, pandemic issues, schooling issues. It needs to be done at a level that, as elected officials, and we need to step up to the plate and accept that.
Can you talk about your positions on both the Tabor and the Gallagher amendments?
Well, what I'd like to do right now is that Tabor definitely would need to be looked at as far as each year it goes by the previous years of taxes or income. This time around, we need to put it on the table that if our budget is as bad as they say that it is, and everything's that bad, maybe we could just table it for a year and keep some of that revenue. The same with the Gallagher. We need to start giving people a break on what we're paying and use the money that we get more wisely and quit taxing everybody that every time we go, oh, we're having a budget shortfall, let's raise property taxes. That's not the way to do that. I mean, this is our income, this is what we got to live with, and then that's what we got to fix it with. We got to live within our budget, but just going out there thinking that every working family is an empty pocket, we can't just start taking that. We've got to give them a break. This is going to be, this next couple of years, if not longer, is going to be very tough. And then once this housing rental moratorium it's going to come, there's going to be foreclosures, there's going to be evictions, and now you just made these people homeless. So I would hope that they're working on a plan to get that resolved real fast.
How would you assist small? Oh, there's more. Go ahead.
Well, maybe, the county can somehow, we do all kinds of other things. Maybe we could work with the state, other counties. There's going to be other counties that are worse off than us. We just need to all get together and make one big pull and have ideas. How can we help each other?
So let's follow up on that. You've talked about collaborating with other counties. What personally would you do to see that happen?
Reach out, talk to them, see how can we help them. What are your problems? How did you fix this? How did you do that? This is what we're doing. Maybe we could get together and have, I don't know how to say it. I know it'd probably be stepping on toes, but maybe we could help schools with their maintenance projects if they're underhanded or short-staffed. We just have to open the book and put it on the table and see if there's a way that we can help each other. If there isn't, there isn't. But at least open the door to, right now, take care of the kids in the schools. Get together with each county and work on this pandemic. How can we each help each other on this?
Okay. How would you assist small businesses impacted by the coronavirus, particularly in your district?
How would I do what?
How would you assist small businesses that have been impacted by the coronavirus? What would you do policy-wise to help small business?
Well, I would try to say that we could maybe help them by lowering their property taxes, maybe help them with workforce, maybe give them some assistance instead of getting on their utilities. Maybe we could help with food. I don't know. I doubt food would work, but there's got to be ways to help them. There's some small businesses that I hate to say we can't help everybody. But if we can and they're established and we could maybe help them. Like I said, I'm not privy to the county budget, but whatever options there is out there for a small business in our county, I would love to help them. We were driving from Trinidad, me and the missus, and Walsenburg my gosh, that whole town's almost boarded up. And you drive around here, you see the mom and pop shops. They're gone. I mean, and the fact of the matter is they just couldn't sustain it. They don't make enough money to make it. We have different options. We have grants. We could ask for grants. We could get with the state. I mean, we just have to get together and start looking at things and not be so closed-minded. Open your minds up. Do something.
So you're running for a position on a notoriously Republican county commission. As a Democrat, if you were elected, how would you ensure that your voice was heard when you're probably going to be outnumbered?
Well, that I already have a plan. I'm just going to let the media come in. If I got a really good idea, and if the issue becomes that, you know, they're just going to vote against me because of that, but it's still a good idea, well, then the people are going to know that, hey, I presented it. These guys said no. You know, you got to have the citizens behind you on that. It'll be there's 4-1 then, but I'll be flexible. I mean, I'm not going to go in there boneheaded and think everything's going to be the way it is. But like I said, if they'll listen and hear, I'll do the same. And if it's a good idea, it's a good idea. You can't knock a guy for having a good idea just because of his political party, especially if it's for the better interest of the county as far as serving the citizens.
Okay. So two things with the sheriff's office come to mind. Sheriff Bill Elder, regarding policy, said that he wouldn't enforce the red flag law when that was instituted. He also said that he wouldn't enforce the mask mandates when that was put in place for the county. What's your opinion on the sheriff's role in the county and enforcing state policy?
Well,
state law, really.
Right. The red flag law, that's the law. And I don't see how anybody can say they're not going to enforce the law. I mean, it gives them enough of an option there that they go in, they determine if this is a valid reason to take a man's weapons away, which most of the time, you know, there's got to be a good reason. Mm-hmm. I'd hate to see somebody get hurt because you decided not to research it or look into it and come up with a reasonable excuse for that one. I mean, that's the law. Mm-hmm. The mask mandate, that's just because I wear a mask and I wear it because it's a health reason. Now, to enforce it, that'd be, I don't know how you would enforce it and penalize somebody, but you could at least tell people through our public information office, and various stores are already doing it, just require you wear a mask in public stores and stuff. What they do at home, that's their own business, but as a public and as citizens of the county, please wear your mask. I mean, there's no fact saying it doesn't help. There's a lot of reasons it does, and I think of the seniors, I think of the kids, I think of everybody when it comes to that. Just wear the mask, and let's just ride this storm out and do what you're supposed to do, wash your hands, and follow procedure. Keep your family safe. Keep your citizens, friends, everybody safe.
Okay. Did you say this is your fourth run at office?
No, this is my third one. The first one was pretty, pretty Republican Democrat. Then the second run I had was really good. I was running against Mr. Heisey and came really close. At that time, Makita was the sheriff. He even said, boy, that was a good one. And then this time it's because of what I've seen happening with the county, and I don't consider, well, the county is employees, but these employees represent working families. All of us deserve a fair wage and a fair pay, and the employees, at least at the level that I'm at, I don't feel have been given a fair shake. At least some people are going to say, well, you're working. Well, that's true, but we deserve a fair wage for our trade. We deserve fair benefits, and it's not happening. Our pension is getting worse. Our time to went from 5 years to 8 years to get vested. This year they've taken away the overtime and said they're going to give you comp time. I mean, I can't go to Safeway or Walmart or anyway and say, hey, I got 10 hours of comp time. Can I have some groceries? These are working people, and they deserve to be compensated for it fairly. And that's not just El Paso County. That's the trend that goes with everybody else. If you're a union electrician, you get paid. Everybody gets paid relatively to the trade next to it. And that's one of the, and even if we can't give more money, maybe we could subsidize the medical. We help everybody in the county. We have the workforce for training. We have EBT. We have housing. We have family visitation. We have immunizations. We have so many things, but it seems to me that we're forgetting the guys that are right there working, keeping things going. And I mean that all the way to snowplow driver, everybody.
What would you say you learned from your first 2 losses?
Well, the first one was kind of, I wanted to make a statement and get in there and at least be heard. The second one, I learned from the first. I attacked it at a different approach and went to various land use meetings, codes, regional. I did a lot. And then all of a sudden, this time, I just see things getting put to the wayside. And so I'm trying with the pandemic too. That's making it very difficult because I'm more of I like debates. I like to be in person talking to somebody. And so this one's hard. Well, this is new for everybody too, but how to get the word out and all that is going to be tough. So I'm trying to do the best I can. But in my heart and in my knowledge and what I know of the county and the common sense that I have and what I've seen, I know I'd be the best commissioner there is for not only for this district, but for everybody, for the citizens, for everybody, the schools, the workforce. Like I said, I'll be there every day working on ways to get the, like you said, small business. What can we do to help them? What can we do to do this? What can we do to help the schools? Why aren't we doing this with the parks? Just why are we spending money here when we can't maintain what we have? Just there's so many things. It's going to be a busy time.
Okay. Any questions from Mary Jo or Jen? None from either. Anything you wanted to add in closing, Andre?
No, I really appreciate it. I'd never really had an interview with the Indy. I read it faithfully. Like I said, I've been endorsed by the IBEW, the Pikes Peak Education Association. I'm waiting for the Southern Conference. I've got some other ones that are coming. I've got, like I said, this is going to be a really tough one. I know in the primary, I came really close with what I had to Gonzalez. And that was with me with the one sign standing on the street corner, but a lot of people know me around here, and I'm in the process of trying to get it going. I just a little bit flabbergasted on how to get my word out.
Yeah.
But I'm trying the best I can, and District 4 is a pretty big district, but not unfortunately, but it covers a lot of Fort Carson, and you're not allowed to go out there and campaign. But I'm going around trying to do the best I can. But like I said a long time ago, you know, Ken Salazar, Barella, Miles, Mike Miles, a lot of these people, Nick and Bambi Venatucci, they're all gone now. Well, I don't mean, you know, well, they're not around here anymore like they used to. That was back in 2008. I've graduated from the El Paso County Sheriff's Citizens Academy. I graduated from the El Paso County Citizens College. Used to have a Dems Latino initiative. I've participated in almost all the stuff that's out there, so I just need to try to get my word out, and it's going to be tough.
All right. Thank you, Andre. We appreciate your time. We'll be making our endorsements in mid-October, so look for those. Sounds like you read the Indy anyway, so thanks for that.
Yeah, yeah. Every Wednesday I get it,
All right.
but I wish I could just see you face to face and be able to talk a little bit more about all these things. But it's hard to say something when you're not in that position. But everything that I will do if I am elected will always be a positive move for the county and the citizens, always. And I won't take our citizens' tax dollars lightly. They need to be done in a reasonable way and have a turn, you know, something that comes back to us, back to the citizens. And start some kind of program to get these kids to excited about learning. I don't know, we've gotten complacent with it.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Andre. We appreciate your time, and best of luck to you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you.